Hey guys, after visiting Twisted Metal 3, I had an itch to play the fourth game again, and while it has its faults, I still remember this one pretty fondly, and sure, nostalgia might have a part in it, but I wasn't really that disappointed coming back to it. Opening up the game, you're greeted with a pretty short but nice music track that sets the tone as usual, but there's something unique to this game that I don't think was ever brought back in any of the series going forward. Create a vehicle. While simple, you have three types to choose from: small, medium, heavy. Each type has different armor stats as well as speed. There are even some throwbacks in here like Crimson Fury or Hammerhead. My favorite small car here has to be the Miata, since I owned one for a few years. Each car can be customized with a set of different colors, and one alternative addition that might add lights or a spoiler or whatnot. After that, you get to pick your special, and while they're mostly all over the place balance-wise, I find them all pretty fun, but if I had to pick the two I love the most, would be the Twin Torchers and the Detno Ball. The Twin Torchers are a fast rechargeable special that has great tracking and lights foes on fire. It's pretty weak, but you can use it more as a finisher or to add on to more damage, while the Detno Ball is a power missile that you can, detonate. It does decent damage, and if you get direct hits, it almost functions kind of like Sweet Tooth's special from Twisted Metal 3. Though I think one thing that stands out the most here is the really silly voice lines. Here, listen to some of them.
Big time pain! Lame on, baby! Hail to the king, baby! Mess with the best, die like the rest!
Pretty cringe, I know, but I find it funny. Time periods and all that. Back to the contestant selection, you have a bunch of new faces, and some old ones that may have returned in a different way as they usually do. We have Orbital, who drives the 1998 McLaren F1, with the first special in the whole series that actually doesn't do damage. The Tele Orb pulls any cars closer to the center before exploding and freezing everyone. It reminds me a lot of Club Kid special in Twisted Metal 3, allowing you to set up some AoE damage on multiple drivers, and considering the new weapon selection, yeah, it's pretty neat. I won't go into all the drivers' details, but we have Warthog returning as a freaking tank, Mr. Grimm as a pirate for some reason, and Pizza Boy, who is the Spectre replacement with an amazing special you'll see throughout the video. 2 discs that fly out and slam into your target, pretty fast recharge rate as he drives what I assume is a Honda Civic. There are 2 contestants that stand out to me the most that we have never had playable in the series, but they are staples in their own right. Calypso. Yeah, the witty mastermind from the previous titles comes in pretty heavy here in Twisted Metal 4 to get revenge on Sweet Tooth for taking his magical ring and kicking his ass out of his tower. So what option does Calypso take to return the favor and reclaim his throne? Nuclear missile truck. Yep, he goes straight to the most ridiculous option, nuclear warfare. Figures. I mean, just listen to him.
This is ridiculous, really. Twisted Metal is my tournament. It's my brainchild. It's mine. This will be proven soon enough, and I'll serve this same foul humiliation back to that crooked, collapsed cortex, criminally handicapped, overly made-up clown.
While it isn't some massive map-wide damaging missile, it does a huge damage on direct hit and catches everything else on fire within its radius. Pretty metal, honestly. Okay, let's dig into the gameplay here, because I really like the feel of how the cars move. It's much more precise than the previous 99 game. You can adjust where you face while in air, e-braking to turn on someone is tighter than before. Everything feels fast in a good way. You can still get some air by using the jump command off of a ramp, but you won't be flinging yourself all over the map like Twisted Metal 3. You know what else I find cool? Each stage has a boss fight that you can end up unlocking the cars whenever you defeat them and beat the game. Also, it's the first Twisted Metal game that dropped the code system for its story mode and brought the new save file. It feels like a longer session each playthrough due to how big the maps are and how many there are, and it can be a good or bad thing depending. I personally like it. The bosses here are unique enough, though some of them have reused specials. At least their designs are cool, and I personally adore Moonbuggy from the second stage. He has a more balanced version of Henchman, which is Sweet Tooth's busted bullshit. I cannot believe the developers actually made Each stage has a gimmick much like Twisted Metal 3. At least the early stages have pretty unique ones, like the crane in the junkyard, which you can pick up drivers and ruin them early on. Though sadly they get replaced by mostly lightning pickups scattered around about secret areas. There are usually non-combat secrets in each level that reward a bit of exploring as well, which do give you power weapons as well as, like I said, the lightning pickup. Speaking of pickups, I really find the new weapons cool. The rain missile was changed from 3 to be less of an aerial detonation and more of a bombardment in a line, while Rain 2 functions more like a napalm homing missile that fires multiple explosives at the target. Speed missiles were changed to be satisfying as hell to pick up a bunch and barrage someone whenever they're frozen. Unlike the other games, it's a volley payload that can deal a decent amount of damage alongside your machine guns, and you can just hold on the button to fire a consecutive volley. It's much better than tapping the button over and over again like in the other games. The MIRV missile launcher and the Auto Lob are pretty neat additions to the pickup roster and fill the slot of more powerful weapons to give some options outside the power missile for the strongest. Remember earlier on I mentioned the whole 2 drivers thing that stand out to me? Well, Mr. Zombie, or Rob Zombie, finally makes his way into Twisted Metal. It's such a shame that none of these characters were ever used again. I mean, their designs are great. While they're kind of on the corny side with their character personality and story, that pretty much fits the older games. And I really like the looks of most of these cars. The shift to more of a post-apocalyptic art style and storytelling from Twisted Metal Black and onward really set the game's future in stone, I feel. But Rob Zombie's special is similar to Orbital, but does more damage and explodes. And I don't know if it's true, but I feel like it has more of an aggressive pull if you can land it on a group of enemies. I need to test that. His car is also sweet, that Dracula style look, and his bio isn't too bad either. It's short and kind of silly.
He writes the songs. He writes the songs.
Man, Twisted Metal 4 really did cap off a series of 4 games for the PS1 I'll always revisit yearly. I know Small Brawl was a thing, but I never played too much of it, and personally the toy car aesthetic wasn't really up my alley. It's a shame we didn't stick with this cosmic silliness with the dark edge. Personally, I think of how popular Deadpool humor is lately. The old Twisted Metal would do great if they ever rebooted the franchise again. A lot of fourth wall breaking, a lot of corny jokes. That seems to be in right now. Did you guys like the game? Find anything unique or cool about it? Let me know below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Have a good one.